A romantic relationship is a want, not a need. It is human nature to want a companion, a forever friend, and someone you can rely on. But a relationship isn't always the solution to fill in the void of loneliness. Look at Jennifer Aniston, for instance. She's been flying solo for about 5 years now. Her thoughts on relationships, children, and marriage are different and non-conventional.
Because just because we're women, we have a uterus, we have a vagina, we have ovaries, we need to get to work, lady, as opposed to, hello, freedom medal. We as women do a lot of incredible things in this world.
So why did Jennifer Aniston choose the single life, and what's so great about it? In fact, she endorses it fully and has announced she is no longer looking for love, as loving herself is simply enough. In Hollywood, everyone always wants to know who is dating whom, and there aren't a lot of bachelors and bachelorettes available. Entertainment sources are always looking out and about for the next couple or the next breakup. People are always invested in celebrities' relationships, and people even use relationships as publicity stunts. So, it's safe to say that a major reason why people love celebrities as much as they do is because of their dating life. Even Jennifer Aniston has had her fair share of her dating life, having been all over the media and the tabloids, never leaving her alone. She had the it couple relationship and marriage with Brad Pitt from 2000 to 2005, and another marriage with Justin Theroux from 2015 to 2017. So, how did she go from being the girl next door, having her love life be the talk of Hollywood, to being someone who prioritizes herself and her happiness, and enjoying the single life to the fullest? And why? We'll be talking about exactly that and why you should also follow Jen's steps and embrace the single life. After 2 broken marriages, Jennifer has been vocal about choosing herself and her happiness over the fear of not being with someone. She has been preaching inner happiness and working on herself and her career, which has made her a successful actress who even now is in great shape and health. We can learn from her that investing time in yourself is much more fruitful than investing your time and energy in just one relationship. Jen has had many successful movies, including the biggest hit Friends, and has played well over 30 movies, all of which couldn't have been possible if she hadn't been prioritizing time for herself. All the success and great things she's accomplished are the result of time and energy that she has invested in herself. Whether it be in real life or as Rachel Green on Friends, be it by ending the relationship or by a runaway bride, Jennifer always chooses her happiness first, because here's the thing: until and unless you've grown as a person, you've invested in yourself, your happiness, and your life. You cannot be in a relationship. To be in a good, healthy relationship, you need to experience being single, even if it feels lonely in the beginning. Being single will literally change your life for the better. Jennifer learned this by experiencing it. Her relationships have been great learning lessons that she doesn't consider failure. In her opinion, both her marriages were really successful and they were really happy. And when there came a time their happiness couldn't exist within that bond, they ended things, which isn't a bad thing necessarily. Sure, there were bumps, and not every moment felt fantastic, obviously, but at the end of it, this is our one life, and I would not stay in a situation out of fear, Aniston said to Elle magazine in December of 2018. Fear of being alone? Fear of not being able to survive? To stay in a marriage based on fear feels like you're doing your one life a disservice. What we need to understand is that breaking up isn't a bad thing. Breakups are sometimes necessary instead of being in a toxic and unhappy relationship. Breaking up is the better option. You get to live a better life full of new lessons and experiences after a breakup. A life with freedom and many possibilities of happiness. It leads to a more fulfilling and satisfying life, and we are more likely to experience positive emotions and enjoy life's experiences. Society has glamorized romantic relationships way too much and has based a people's worth on it. If someone voluntarily chooses not to be in a relationship, people think there's something wrong with that person. Even Aniston was known as the American sweetheart with a sad story. For having been with Brad Pitt, who wasn't the most faithful husband, people pointed fingers at her a lot, saying how unhappy she must have been in the relationship and how marriage and love had failed her.
20 years, the media has treated Jen as this heartbroken woman who would never be happy until she had kids. That couldn't be further from the truth.
We live in a society that massages women. By this age, you should be married. By this age, you should have children. That's a fairy tale. That's the mold we're slowly trying to break out of, said Aniston in the interview with Elle.
Oh, I don't have this sort of checklist of things that have to be done, and if they're not checked, then I've failed some part of my feminism or my being a woman.
Being in a relationship can be a fairy tale in the beginning, but every fairy tale ends and the reality hits. It's not always all being head over heels and butterflies in your stomach. The idealization of romantic relationships has created unrealistic expectations and makes people believe that a romantic relationship will solve all their problems and make them happy. But this is wrong. This is why many relationships fail. It's because people have such high expectations from their partners and they depend on their significant others so much that they forget what they're expecting is completely unrealistic and unattainable. It's the if they wanted to, they would mentality that people have put extreme pressure on their partners and relationships to basically keep themselves happy and entertained. This is unhealthy and toxic, so it's better to take a step back from being in a relationship and to completely understand the dynamics of a relationship, what a healthy relationship looks like, how you could do so much better, not settle for bare minimum, and how your behavior can also hamper the relationship. People also limit themselves within the relationship and distance themselves from all their loved ones just because they think they're supposed to spend all their time with one special person. So being in a romantic relationship can completely ruin your other relationships as well. You don't spend quality time with your friends or your relatives, and that can really hamper your social life. This unrealistic expectation of one person being your everything and spending all your time with them is not good. It isolates you from the outer world, which is single. Isn't going to happen. You will always have the time in your schedule to meet relatives, friends, and new people. Jennifer, being a movie star who has starred in over 30 movies emphasizing rom-com and just romantic movies in general, understands that reality isn't like the movies. The truth is that the only person who can solve your problems is you. Another thing Jennifer learned the hard way is uplifting herself. After her split with Brad, she was alone, living with her dog and meeting only her best friends, which is what helped her move on from it and have a better lifestyle. She worked hard and embraced the single life, which then helped her embrace herself and have a much happier life.
Have you had to shed some tears?
So I shed some tears. In all the self-help books, you can sort of intellectualize it, but the truth is, and you sit there going, well, how do I do that? How, and you're frustrated, and then you get down on yourself because you're not there yet.
But as Jen dug deeper to move past her heartbreak, she had a powerful thought. She told Vanity Fair, relationships are two people. Everyone's accountable. Even if it's 98% the other person's fault, it's 2% yours. You can only clean up your side of the street.
Which is exactly what she did. She never really blamed her exes for the end of the relationship, but also held herself accountable for her side. This type of maturity and realization doesn't come when you're jumping from relationship to relationship, but it comes when you've had a lot of thinking and growing to do outside of a relationship. Between her two marriages, Jen has a 10-year gap, which is a lot to sit down and reflect on personal behavior and better it. This wouldn't have been possible had she jumped right into another relationship, even now after the end of the second marriage. It's been 5 years and she's still not jumping into a relationship or forcing a relationship because forcing something is always going to ruin it. Let it come to you and happen naturally. That's what's going to be successful and something you'll not regret. Now it's your turn to explore your single life and embrace it. Find happiness within yourself, and only then can you be happy in a relationship with someone else. Don't beat yourself up for being single. It's not a bad thing. Be grateful that you're single and happy instead of being in a toxic, unhappy relationship. And remember, wisdom comes from living, and celebrities have been through a lot. If you want more life advice from celebrities, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.